What's going on, everybody? We're going to be live. We're recording the podcast live. I'm going to start in a couple minutes. Hopefully you guys can hear me. But look who I got in the building with me.
It's me, finally.
Yes. IG. So Sarah, say what's up to Instagram over here on this side.
Hey, Instagram.
What's up,
Hi,
IG?
everyone.
What's up, y'all?
Hope you all are doing well and hope that you're healthy and safe and have the things that you need. Yes,
we're doing a live podcast episode, so we want to welcome everybody in. Just for my podcast, I want to let you know we're streaming on all platforms. This is live. I hope you are enjoying the live experience. I'm having fun doing it. So we're live on YouTube. YouTube, what's up? We're live on Instagram.
Yes.
And we're live on Facebook. Yes. On all platforms.
Yes.
You know, so like as Shara said, we hope you guys are all safe. We're going to talk about it. I mean, it's the
elephant in the room.
It's the elephant in the room.
The room that we're stuck in.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about all things pandemic and how that is how that's affecting
all things pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, you mean the COVID-19,
yes.
The coronavirus.
Yes. Oh. Yeah. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to just talk about how we're dealing with it.
Right.
You know, feel free to chime in the comments.
Yes.
Let us know how you're dealing with it and how it's affecting, family life and money life, because we are Black, married,
and debt-free.
Okay.
But it is affecting the pockets. And we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So
yes,
there are a bunch of pros. We and Shara were talking about it. And Shara, I feel like there's some pros and cons, to the situation we're all in.
But when you said that, I feel like there's no pro to a pandemic. There's no pros to a pandemic. Like, what's good about it? I don't know. Yeah. So I think it's all in how you frame it, right. Because it is just a situation that we haven't seen in our lifetime, and I'm sure a lot of folks, would agree.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Shara, like even us right now, Shara's working from home. She's on a lunch break.
I'm on my lunch break.
So
I'm actually working too.
Yeah.
Because the other day, Marcus asked me to make him a sandwich, and I was like, I'm working.
When I see my wife home, it's just like she's home, but no, she's working from home. So we're all adjusting. There's a lot of things that are changing. Mm-hmm. Everything's fluid. Every hour we get some updates. Oh, my city might be doing this. Oh, I heard somebody say that they may be shutting the gas stations down next to keep people, So
yeah, and honestly, because it's such a fluid situation, like no one has all of the answers,
right?
And I think for me that's a little bit frustrating.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of people, they're experiencing the same thing. So right. We empathize, and we're not here to, scare anyone, but I think we're just going to talk about how we're surviving, and would love to hear from you all as well.
Yeah, y'all. So hop in the comments and let us know as we go forward. So let's talk about some of the cons first of all. I mean, the first con is obvious. We have a virus out there that is very harmful. There's a lot we don't know about the virus itself, which creates all this. I think
that's the most scary thing is that it's something that folks haven't seen before.
Right.
And then so yeah, I agree with that. The virus itself and the communication around the virus, especially media. I feel like
you don't know what you can trust, what's facts and what's conjecture. You know what I mean?
And I'm like, I don't know. Not censor myself, but I feel like the media is playing into it, but
there is some seriousness to it as well.
It's it's serious, but I'm like, what part is political? What part is like, I really need to be afraid? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
So just to be safe, we taking all precautions. But in the back of your head, because somebody said something interesting. It was like, all right, it was an influencer that had had a large following,
mm-hmm.
and they were like, okay, I got all this following. I need everybody to hop in the comments. Who do you know that has the coronavirus? Like, you have their number in your phone, and it was hundreds of comments.
I don't know nobody.
And there was nobody who knew. So that's just nobody.
But I mean,
but it's still a serious thing. We're hearing about athletes and entertainers getting it. So you know it's real.
But that's what I don't understand, because those are celebrities and people really don't have access to them.
Right.
So it's like, who are you talking to?
Right.
Let me stop, though. Let me stop. It can happen to anybody.
So that's the first con. I mean, it can cause pneumonia. Shara was sharing with me how she learned how it affects the respiratory system. It's terrible for older individuals. You know?
And folks with underlying health conditions.
Right.
So those are folks that are at risk.
Yeah, and it seems to be highly contagious.
Highly contagious. I think that might be what separates this from some of the other flus, because don't we have a flu every year? Don't we have some strange strand of something every year? You know, but I think that there's, you know, it can live on surfaces for quite a while. And so the fact that it is pretty contagious,
right,
I think is a con for sure.
What's another con, Shai, you think?
A con, let's see. Well, it's the way that it's impacted family life.
Right.
So I'll say it's a con to shelter in place, but is it all a con though?
Well, we're going to get into how there's some positives with the shelter in place, but so on the surface, that is a con. You can't move. You're not able to be mobile and go where you want to go, you know? So,
I mean, you can, but
there's restrictions.
There's restrictions, but there's no one outside. I just looked out my window. Like no one is like watching your comings and your goings, you know, but you just want to be strategic. You know, we're not taking family outings to the grocery store.
Right. Or pulling up at the mall or pulling up at Old Navy, you know.
Places I shouldn't be anyway.
Right.
Basically. Right.
So that's one thing. It's also forcing, like I said, businesses to close. So that's definitely a huge con. People are out of work. And, you know, with us, Shire, we always are talking about how people can build wealth, how they can save money. But, you know, it comes a point in time where, like, if you lost your job, we need to have another conversation. Or if I'm laid off from my job.
But I think it's been impacted for sure. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like if my job is impacted, then now we got to have another conversation. Now, you know, so it's that's definitely a terrible part to this whole thing.
Right. And we can talk about it personally.
Yeah. Because
it hasn't impacted us.
Right.
Because I checked the bank and it has. Yeah. But thankfully our regular 9-to-5 jobs, I can telecommute, which is awesome. I appreciate my employer's flexibility in allowing, you know, for this. I feel that workspaces should be more flexible in general, at least my place of employment. Right. But we have been offered quite a few days and just telecommuting, working from home. And then Marcus, his position, he's an essential service.
Yeah, definitely in the
and
healthcare
so
industry.
It's not going to close. So we're happy about that. Yeah. But as far as some of the other streams of income, I think those will be
drying up a little bit.
It will be impacted.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Well, yeah. I mean, well, as many of you, or hopefully if you haven't, shameless plug, check out our YouTube channel. One of our most popular videos talks about our 8 streams of income. So I have an online business that benefits churches that don't. And then I also play an instrument for a church. And both of those things are being shut down because of the shelter in place and some of the, you know, you can't gather in large groups and things like that. So those things are going to be affected.
Right.
And so that money is going to, you know,
might be a little
going to change. Yeah, it's going to change.
We're going to have to make some adjustments to, you know, our budget and how we plan probably for the next couple of months. Yeah. And then also with the rental properties, because at first, you know, the stock market was going down, and I was
like, oh, we you know, we good. We got these rentals.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Right.
Okay, the rent is what it is. So, you know, that's still going to come in. But now, you know, I'm wondering, like, are they going to be impacted? You know, are they going to be in a position to where, you know, their income hasn't changed or fluctuated? And quite frankly, I don't think we'll know for another 2 weeks. And so, you know, just hoping that they're okay, you know, and then also hoping that they'll be able to, you know,
maintain employment and maintain the rent.
Right. You know, because if not, that's an added expense that falls onto us, you know, and so, you know, those are some of the things. And then, Shire, I mean, let's keep it 100. The entertainment shortage. No sports, no shows, no concerts, no comedy shows. No, it's just like the entertainment piece is big for a lot of people. Really got me. The sports got me.
Because
it didn't hurt me. Yeah, I think it hurt you.
Yeah, it did.
But I was definitely surprised by it. Like, y'all just gonna shut down? I mean, ugh.
Right. It's just, let me pause really quick. Shout out to everybody checking us out on YouTube. We see the comments. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. But yeah, Shire, back to what you were saying. Yeah, it's me. I'm a huge sports junkie. So, and sports always seem like that untouchable thing. I was telling Shire about that. It's like, man, the world is crazy, but hey, we still got sports as an outlet. So now the outlets are disappearing. Right.
Someone says that they're watching old NBA games.
Yeah, I'm on, right. Yeah, exactly, man.
Yes.
Watching highlights. I even see LeBron on his Instagram. He's watching old highlights of himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's you gotta feed that hunger some kind of way. So
right.
Those are definitely cons. And Shire, now talk about this next con here.
Well, I want to stay on this one a little bit longer. Okay, so we talked about how our income may be impacted, and actually has been impacted because of the whole coronavirus, but then also looking outside of ourselves, the folks that are working in certain industries who are having their hours cut, their hours reduced. And I think for a lot of people, it's going to be a challenge. Yeah. Like I'm feeling for people right now.
Yeah. And it's the thing is, we don't know how long. That's the thing. If you're like, hey, we're going to be out of work for X amount of weeks, you're like, okay, all right, I got to tighten up the seatbelt a little bit. But when you don't know how long, it's just like, man, okay. And I think that leads us to our next topic. Since we don't know how long the shelters in place and the different things like that will be, around, it creates the panic. And we're seeing that on the shelves of many of our favorite stores.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So this whole toilet paper thing is it's too much for me. Before it got really bad, we went to the store and Marcus was like, Shira, get some toilet paper. And I'm like, I just bought some toilet paper. I don't need toilet paper right now. And so I got like a smaller pack, but I so regret that.
And I was ready. I was like, yo, I see doomsday ahead. Like, hey, let's get canned good. I'm thinking
I didn't know he was a prophet.
And Shira's just thinking we doing normal shopping. It's like, no.
I'm trying to stay within my budget. But people, I'm like, how are people affording to buy all of this?
Shire, a lot of people, what I'm seeing and what I'm reading in a lot of news outlets is a lot of people are using credit cards to fund this thing. Because think about it. We didn't, as a society, have the capacity to empty the shelves last month.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
All of a sudden,
we just got this money. People are saying a lot of individuals are using credit cards to do that.
I know. And that's sad. I mean, you will use the toilet paper eventually. You will use it.
It will be used.
It will be used.
It's an essential service.
Right. But, toilet paper is expensive too.
Right.
It is expensive. Right. So you got 3 big things in your car. I mean,
yeah,
that could be like $40, $50 or more, the double roll too, the good kind.
Right.
So I don't know. But thankfully, we still have some toilet paper. I mean,
yeah,
absolutely. Here, and I have a plan in place. If we run out, we just gonna go. No,
let's not get into that. We're not gonna get into the hygiene part, but that is definitely a con. So that was just a few of the cons. There are many more.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel like I'm a little disappointed in humanity that we would. I don't know.
I can't get mad at it, Shire.
I can because
I feel a little differently about it.
Because some people are going without. You're not gonna, you might not see suffering. Just because you don't see the suffering doesn't mean that it's not happening.
Right. Here's the thing, Shire, you touched on it really good, that here's an opportunity for us to help those who, may not have. Like, if you got extra and your neighbor doesn't and they're struggling, that's a good opportunity for you to
I'm not handing out rolls yet, but my brother had a birthday and so he came over, and so
this lady here.
I mean, his gift. I went in the bathroom and I got him a roll of toilet paper, and it was the good kind. But he took it. He was like, "Shoot, I'll take it." My brother, he has a growing family. So they took it, and it was fine.
Well, Shire, me. I'm a glass half full kind of guy. Okay. You know what I'm saying? That's just who I am. And me and Shire are really yin and yang in that I believe.
Yes.
Shire is very pessimistic.
I'm not pessimistic, because if I was pessimistic, I would have bought the toilet paper. I was optimistic that, it wouldn't get to this point.
Right. With that said, let's look at the glasses half full, and let's look at the pros of, that are buried deep in this whole situation. So one of which we spoke about, the people having to stay at home. Kids are at home. Maybe we should have put that in.
I don't want the kids to be home.
We might have wanted to put that in a con section.
Don't know.
But let's do it as a pro for now. So more time with family. Kids are home from school. We can get more heavily involved in their education. Shire, why don't you speak to that?
But I'm still working though. So for me, it's like, let me find something for y'all to do that's productive, and that's not the TV or the iPad, for a good part of the day.
Right.
So I feel like it's still kind of a balancing act. It is good. They're home. I know where you're at. You're safe. You have what you need.
And Shire, maybe you will look back on this time, these few months or however long this will last. We'll look back on this years from now and say, you know what? That was a special time when I got to be home with my parents, or when I got to, you know what I mean? Maybe this is, there's some good that can come out of this. I truly believe that.
Yes. I know. I think that you're right about that. Yeah. Oh, someone comments and says, they're driving me crazy.
Oh, they're driving me crazy. I totally agree with that.
Yep. Yeah. I think it's important. I always ask myself, I pray for the wisdom to know what season of life I'm in, because I think we can go through life complaining, but then years go by and you say, you know what, that was a really great time.
Right.
So I think it is good to treasure those little rascals.
Yeah. And the kids maybe just like, less about us, but more so about the kids. They may look back on it and say, oh man, you remember when I got to stay home? We got that, they just see it as they just ain't going to school. They don't know what's going on.
Well,
some of them,
my kids know. They know. I mean, they're small, still. Our daughter, she's 5, and so we're telling her to wash her hands, and like she made this whole like public safety poster of her washing her hands when she comes in the house, washes hands before she eats her food, and so yeah.
So I mean that's a good thing, and also. Let's get into it, because this is why you guys are here. This is why you guys tune in, because we want to know how is this affecting the financial situation. So with the stock market, now I'm not going to go chapter and verse on this, because check out last week's episode if you want to hear me really go in on the stock market and the opportunities there. But we're going to dabble in it. The stock market is on sale essentially right now, right? The Dow Jones. These are statistics from 2020. So they're heavily impacted by the recent events, but these are the yearly statistics of these markets. So the Dow Jones in 2020 is down 30.7%. Okay. The S&P 500 is down 25.77%. And so we got Dow Jones, S&P, I'm missing one. It just slipped my mind. NASDAQ is down 22.10%. So what I'm saying is, as a whole, the market is lower. If you ever wanted to get into it, now may be the time.
Yeah, I mean, you're throwing these numbers out like we're not all smiling about that. Like, wow, you have money in there.
If you have money in there,
you're fine. It's been impacted. Right. But keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
We are still being consistent in our monthly contributions.
Your dollar is buying more.
Your dollar is buying a larger number of stocks because the per stock cost has gone down essentially. And we know what's going on. We know what's causing this dip. It's this virus, and eventually there will be a recovery.
Yes.
I don't know when, but eventually there will be. And so if you already have funds set aside in your budget, think about, I'm not advising you, but think about being consistent. Being consistent and continuing to do what you've been doing. And if you are not in the market, maybe you're not investing, then now is a good time to think about jumping in, you know. That's the thing with the market, not to really be driven by your emotions, but just to be consistent and looking at the historical average, looking at how it's performed over the past 100 years, and just looking at the historical trends.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, many financial folks are not surprised that the market has dipped, because it's about time for this. We just didn't know.
I feel like the market,
we didn't know what was going to cause it, but
you know when you eating good, you know what I'm saying, and your belly's getting big, and you get that one release of, you get that belch. You know what I'm saying?
Marcus, what are you talking
That's
about?
what the market is doing right now. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You're eating really good, and you're getting full, and now I got some room for
this is the lunch hour. Somebody is eating right now.
I know. I'm sorry, but the market is breathing a sigh of relief, because it has been just on the upward tick. Well, so this was a necessity. You know what I'm saying? This is something that we knew was going to happen.
I don't want to say it's a necessity. We didn't know how it was going to happen. That's what I was saying. We didn't know the coronavirus is coming, but
our good friend Amon from Our Rich Journey is on here, and they dropped gems there. Him and his lovely wife have retired, and he's dropping gems in the comment section for those. But to that, Amon posted something, about the Dow Inc. is investing in itself. So these huge companies are not running away. See, when the stock market goes on sale, the consumer in us says, "Oh man, I'm out of here. I'm gonna get away from that." But these big companies are saying, "We're doubling down." You know what I'm saying? They're investing more in themselves. And like Amon said on his post, if they're investing that in themselves, imagine what they're investing in other companies. So the wealthy see it as an opportunity. And I think if we, tap into some of that, I know that money may be tight. We talked about all that in the con section. But if you have that money, like Shire said, continue your consistency.
Just be consistent. Be consistent.
Or maybe even ratchet it up.
Oh, there's a statistic, and I wish I remembered it. It was from the book Unshakable by Tony Robbins. And he talks about how a lot of the money in the market is made on particular days.
Exactly.
And if you miss those trading days, you would have missed out on so many thousands of dollars of profit. I need to look it up. But certainly grab that book. It's called Unshakable, and it's really about creating a solid financial foundation. So when things like this occur, you have the knowledge to really be unshakable in your finances, and you're not wavering because of what you're seeing on the news. You're not wavering because you're educated, and you know that this is just a part of the process, and you have the understanding. People become fearful when things happen that they don't understand. Mm-hmm. So that's why financial literacy and financial education is so important, because when you educate yourself, you kind of remove that fear factor. Right.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there, Shire. So another thing that has been impacted of recent is, and potentially in the future, is the real estate market. Okay, the Fed has cut interest twice in the past 2 weeks.
Yes,
and they're at historic lows.
Yes.
So what does that mean? A lot of people may have opportunity to
purchase if you've been saving for a house and you was waiting for the right time to pull the trigger. Yep. Now's a good time to start thinking about that. Maybe if you're looking to get an investment property or something like that, you might be able to get it at a lower rate. So that's something to consider.
And so I think just to pause there, how important is a few percentage points on an interest rate? Could we break that down?
Thousands.
I mean, we're talking.
It's going to save you. It depends on the purchase price for one.
Right.
In the terms of the contract, but overall, it's a huge savings. So the government is really trying to incentivize people to buy and to spend money.
Right.
But it's hard to spend money when you're stuck in a house.
Yeah.
But that's certainly something to take a look at.
Yeah.
I think we'll keep talking for a few minutes, but then we'll take a moment maybe to go through some of the questions that we've been receiving.
For sure. Let's do that. Let's do that. You want to do that now? Cool. Let's go through some of these questions. So we are on YouTube, and
I have a question from IG, and it's someone says, what part of the market do you feel is the best to invest? And I want to take another moment to talk about the book Unshakable.
Okay.
Because when you're investing, diversification is like really key to have your money in so many different places.
Right.
Because it's unlikely that everything will fail at the same time. Not saying that it's out of the realm of possibilities, but that's one of the things that particular book covers, and it's called Unshakable by Tony Robbins. And he talks about where you need to be invested.
Yeah.
Now, for us, we're in index funds, and so it's invested in many different companies, and we also have real estate income.
Yeah. Which, sorry, essentially investing in index funds is automatic diversification.
Yes.
You know, especially if you invest in ones that track the entire stock market or a large portion of the stock market, like the S&P 500, then you're literally you're diversified there. Yeah,
you want to be diversified. And then if you're going through like your employer or something like that, make sure you're checking the expense ratios. You want to make sure that the cost to have the particular account is as low as possible, because that is what gets a lot of people, is actually the fees. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. And so per CNN Money yesterday, all sectors are down. So we got different, it's broken up in different sectors, the market. You got,
except the toilet paper companies.
Right. You got communications, retail, trade, tech, health services, transportation, finance, energy, minerals. All of those are down. There are some that are doing a little worse than others. So you just also, if you're going to get into the individual game, study, because we're not, extremely well versed in that.
In individual
individual stocks.
Like you can certainly do that, but
but you could kind of. I follow a gentleman, the Wall Street Trapper. He has a wealth of knowledge on the individual stock tip, and I've been checking him out recently. And he said, invest in something that you're familiar with. If you don't,
that's what people would naturally
do anyway. And so, and then you can use your common sense. Hey, if transportation is down, right? You might want to get in that, because people are going to always need to travel. So it's going to go up at some point. So it's about using your common sense and then studying the trends.
Right. But we're not advising you.
We're not advising you. Please don't take any of our...
He's telling you to get in transportation.
Please don't take any of... We're not fiduciary.
That could be $1 million advice, but I don't know. So you just have to do your due diligence.
We're just having a conversation.
And that's what we're really about. It's about, figuring out what you need to know to make your decision, right? So if you want to invest in individual stocks, what specific information do you need to know so that you would feel comfortable doing that? And for different people, that will be different things. Yeah,
for us, index funds is really our bread and butter. And we lean and learn a lot from people like Aman in the comment section with Irish Journey. So, and
he's on YouTube. So if you're on IG, you want to know what's happening. He's
So let's see. Let's go through a couple more questions. Sierra J says, what advice can you give to young people under 25 who weren't taught financial literacy? What advice would you give your younger selves, especially living somewhere like in California?
We know all about living in California.
Yeah. The Cali lifestyle.
That's what we are. And it's expensive. It's expensive to live here.
Yeah.
But I think back to my 25-year-old self, and I really just did not have the mindset that I needed. I wasn't really thinking about my finances at the time. I was in school. We were married. At 25, we had 4 years in already.
Yeah.
And we're both pretty much low-wage workers trying to get through school. And for some people, it really takes for them to experience something dramatic.
Right.
For them to have a wake-up call. And for us, we just got to a point where we literally could not pay our bills. Okay. I was sitting in a WIC office with a college degree, getting vouchers for milk and cheese. And I was like, what in the world is going on? So for us, and for me personally, it took being in a tough situation. It took being in a tough spot for me to say, something is going on here. Somebody has information that I really do not have. So if you're 25 years old and you have that mindset to do, to get your finances in order, and you're not sitting in the WIC office with a newborn baby, then kudos to you. Like you're already
ahead of the game.
You're already ahead of the game. If you're working see what type of options your employer offers. Do you have are you access to a 401k, 403b? Like what do you have available through your employer? And then something simple to get is a Roth IRA if you income qualify. But the thing about financial literacy is you don't have to know everything.
Right.
You just have to know a little something.
Right.
So the easiest thing for folks to do, one of the things that we did, we set up a Roth IRA. We have a whole video taking you through every single step of how to set up the account. So when I set up mine, we recorded it, everything from start to finish. And so definitely check out some of our videos around that. And we did a 1-year update on that. So you can see how easy the process really is.
Right.
And I think, I know I mentioned checking in with your employer, depending on who you are employed with. Like my employer, I can meet with a financial advisor. Not saying I always take their advice, but it's great to have that option.
Right.
So certainly educate yourself, and just don't sit around and do nothing, because when you're young, you're 25, time is on your side, and you can really set yourself up for a really great future.
Yeah. And I think something that I love that question, what would you tell your younger self? I often ask myself that, and we've been asked that before. I would just say to put something away and to be consistent. If I was consistently putting away anything in the market at that time, I would be better. I would be in a better position right now than I am currently. And I think that's something that you could always tell yourself. It's never too early. It's never too little of an amount, because it all makes a difference. I heard
stretch yourself.
But stretch yourself. Stretch yourself. I heard say with every penny that you invest, you're buying your future time. You're paying for your time in the future. You know what I mean? So,
but let me take that penny a step further, because I went to an event and somebody was like, invest a penny. And it kind of upset me because you're going out.
Folks will really just do that.
You're buying hair, you're buying makeup. Well, some of y'all ain't buying hair, but you're buying things that you want. You know what I'm saying? So want to have a strong financial foundation. If you can do more than $10, then do more than $10. If you know that you can do $500 a month, then do it, because
stretch yourself.
You have to prioritize and stretch yourself just a little bit.
Sure, that's essentially what we're doing right now, because
we're stretching.
The reality is,
I'm stretched.
We hear, you guys have heard of zero-based budgets, where your dollar has a destination down to the last penny, and we're on a zero-based saving budget. I mean, we are trying to put so much money into the market that there is no extra. And there's right now, with us, having streams of income being affected,
we
can easily say, you know what, first thing we're going to stop. We about to cut this back. But we're exercising every single option before that even is something we talk about, right?
Right. So you're saying do whatever we need to do to not touch what we've dedicated to contributing to our retirement.
Exactly. So great question.
Yes.
Let's see. We had a couple more. How did you guys learn so much about investing?
Well,
I can go. Or you go? You want to go?
I started it. No, I'm just joking.
Go ahead.
Well, we just read. I read. I read. I had a job that was like out of town, and I had a very long commute. So I would listen to audiobooks and buy audiobooks and just listen to them and educate myself,
Right.
So and it depends on what you want to do. That will help determine how you narrow down your books. But yeah, podcasts are helpful too.
YouTube. I think one of the gentlemen that I truly admire, God rest his soul, Kobe Bryant. What I've heard in his passing is how curious he was. He was this dude we're talking about a dude that is at the height of his industry, but yet he still was curious. He still wanted to pick brains and ask questions, and there was no stupid question for him to ask. I'm the same way, man. I lean on people, that I see, that I study on Instagram and, YouTube and podcasts and all the, reading different things. So you can learn from anyone. You could even learn if their information is wrong. It's like, well, I know that was bad. You know what I mean? So it's just all about learning in any way you can. You have platforms like this.
And I want to add to that, because when you're learning, you're constantly growing. And when you're growing, that means that you're changing, because you're not staying the same. I think for us, our philosophy around money really morphed, because at first we were really focused on getting out of debt, hence the name.
Right.
We're really focused on that. And now we have shifted gears, and we're really focused on building wealth and building streams of passive income. And so the more you learn, the more broadened your perspective gets about what the possibilities are for you and your finances. But the key here is not just to learn, but it's actually to do. Yeah. So you have to learn and do. And so that is certainly key.
Shire, while we're there, that is just a great segue into our last pro of this entire situation that our country finds itself in, and really the world finds itself in. And that is an opportunity to learn, to self-educate, and to self-reflect.
Right.
You have hours of free content, our YouTube page, or others like us and their YouTube pages. And I think now is a good time that people can take this time, Shire, without the distractions of sports and live activities and pulling up to the mall and all that stuff. This would be a good time for people to educate themselves and to learn, things that maybe they've been always wanting to learn and just didn't have the time to do so.
That's what you was gonna say?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she was gonna plug our
let's
Get
Out
of Debt and Build Wealth Masterclass.
Let's plug it, man. We put some time into this masterclass.
We did.
Talk about that for a little bit.
So we have a masterclass that is available for purchase, and depending on where you purchase it, it also comes with a 30-minute coaching call. So that means that if we don't get to your question in the live chat, you can take the masterclass and then also schedule the coaching call with us. Usually it's both of us. We try to do both of us depending on our schedule. So certainly recommend that you check that out if you are interested in building wealth and getting out of debt.
And Shire, we dig deep. Like I said, we offer a lot of free content here on YouTube. We have hours of content, Instagram. But in this masterclass, we dug a little bit deeper. And that's why there's a
case study.
Yeah, there's a case study in there.
And it goes really in depth. And we've put the coaching with the class intentional, because you can learn. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. You can learn, but it's not just about learning. It's about doing. Yeah. It's about that action. And sometimes we know what to do, but we don't know who we need to be and who we need to become to do the things that we know that we need to do. Yeah. So certainly check it out. Where can they purchase it?
Shire, they can purchase it. There's a link in every description. So on Instagram, you can go to our profile description, click the Linktree link, and then it will take you right to the masterclass. On YouTube, it is pinned into the show notes. On Facebook, it's also pinned into the show notes. And on our podcast, for our podcast listeners, it is directly in the show notes. So all you have to do is click 2 buttons, 3 buttons max, and you can have access to an hour and a half of on-demand video. And and you can sit down and talk with me and Shire for 30 minutes.
I know.
Pick our brains.
And if you've already purchased the course, go ahead and schedule the call. There's quite a few people that have not scheduled the call. Don't be scared. Schedule the call, because we want to talk to you.
We want to talk to you.
Yeah. We appreciate you all so much. And we're seeing some of the comments coming in, and we appreciate you. And one thing that we want to be is a light, because there's a, especially with our name, Black, Married, and Debt-Free. And some people, they don't like it. They get uptight. Even Black people. I'm not going to lie. Marcus has a shirt that says Black, Married, Debt-Free. Sometimes he be wearing it out in public. And you know who be looking? It be the Black people looking. I'm like, why are they staring at us? And I mean, I'm not going to assume that I know, but we want to be a light and be positive. And we know there are other Black families and Black individuals, and even folks, well, we're going to keep it Black, have a Black moment right now, who are striving and who are doing well, and who, don't fit the mold, and who are working and striving to build generational wealth for their families. And so we commend each and every one of you all today. And I appreciated this lunch break.
Yeah,
this time
absolutely,
hanging
Shar.
out. I think it's been good.
Right, we're not gonna get you in trouble. We got to get Shar out of here because Shar got to make this money. So we appreciate you guys for locking in with us.
Yes, keep doing what you're doing. We see you.
Yep, we're praying everybody stays safe. We love you guys. Keep yourself safe. Keep your family safe. And we're going to catch you on the next podcast. So for Marcus, this is my lovely wife,
Shira.
And we are Black,
Married, and Debt-Free.
Peace.